Hi, my name is Valerio, and today we are going to talk about what Incoterms are, and we are going to present a type of Incoterm for an specific case. What are Incoterms? Uh, we're going to tell you that Incoterm is the shorten for International Commerce Term. This was found in 1936 at the International Chamber of Commerce (ICC) in Paris. Since then, they have undergone a great deal of adjustment to accommodate the shift brought about by international trade as it developed between governments.
From our point of view, the most suitable Incoterm would be carrier paid to, member of Group C. This is because CPT would place the responsibility for the main carriage on the seller, but the risk of loss or damage to the goods would transfer to the buyer once the goods have been delivered to the carrier at the agreed place. This means that if anything happens to the product during transportation, country A is responsible for any damage and loss. This would be advantageous for the seller as it would mean that they would not be liable for any damage or loss to the goods that occurs after they have been delivered to the carrier. As for country B, there is always an insurance up to the moment of the delivery. And now we're talking about the specific obligations of the seller under CPT. The first one is deliver the goods to the carrier at the agreed time and place. This mostly ensures that the goods are properly delivered to the party responsible for transporting them to the buyer. The second one is pay the cost of the main carriage. This covers the expenses associated with transporting the goods from the seller's location to the agreed destination. The third one, obtain all necessary export documents. These documents are required to clear the goods through customs and ensure their lawful export from the seller's country. And finally, provide the buyer all necessary documents, including the commercial invoice and the bill of landing. These documents provide essential information about the goods, their value, and their transportation, enabling the buyer to clear the goods through customs and receive them at the destination.
So now we're going to talk about some of the specific obligations of the buyer under the carried pay to Incoterm. So the first one is that the buyer has the obligation to pay the price of the goods. These sound obvious, but the thing is that the buyer and the seller they previously agreed a price, and the buyer has the obligation to pay this price once the transaction is made. The second one is that the buyer need to obtain all the necessary import document. This is because you don't want to have any problems in the country where you are receiving these products or these goods. And the third one is that once the sellers put these goods in the agreed place, the buyer need to take them with him. So once the product arrive, the buyer take the product with him. And the last one is that the buyer need to pay any applicable custom duties and taxes. So it's very important because some of the depending on the product, the buyer need to pay some specific taxes, tariff, custom duties, all these depending on what product you're importing.
All in all, for this case of study, we think that CBD is the correct choice since it satisfies the needs of both the buyer and the seller. That's because the seller can manage the shipping procedure and guarantee the time and safe delivery of the merchandise. And in addition to saving time and effort with customs clearance, the buyer is released for any liability for damage or loss to the goods after they are given to the carrier.